Hey friends, we are looking at the CYBER COUTURE Galleria by Lumibricks. This is set number 17007 with 2,701 pieces. And in this video, we're going to look at the box. We'll look at what you can expect to get from this set. And then we're going to look at the parts. I've got them laid out here. We're going to see if they're Lego compatible. We're going to see if there's anything special about them, look at the printing, and we're going to look at the light kit as well as the instruction manuals. There's 3 instruction manuals. And we'll take a look at just how complex this is. It might be your first time building Lumibricks or some alternate brand, so we'll take a look at that. In a separate video, I will review the finished model. It'll take me a little time to get the model done, so if it was me and I was considering buying this set, I think I'd want to take a look at what's inside the box, and that might be helpful even though it's not the finished model. All right, so starting off, just looking at this box here, this is part of Lumibricks' Cyberpunk Neon City theme. And they have currently, I want to say 3, 4 other towers, and they're modular. All of them are modular. The pieces, the floors come apart. And they're typically like a 32 by 32 base plate. And they're almost like a Mills plate. They have a little bit of height and they connect together. So if you have multiples of these and you're powering it with USB-C, when you push these next to each other, there's a little connector in the foundation that will transfer power to the next modular over. Really clever stuff. So as usual with their Cyberpunk series, it is colorful. It's got full lighting with a lighting kit. It's got multiple floors, lots of windows. It's got many minifigures, and it has a story built into it. So we'll talk about the story part too as we go into it. But what you're seeing here is essentially like a fashion mall, and it's got a main floor. It's got a VIP section. And the higher up you go, the more kind of VIP or more specialized things get. And it has an elevator too on the reverse side. Can't quite see it. Or maybe right there. So this is an elevator that you can manually push up and down to get to these top floors. And then the showcase piece that helps you recognize instantly which cyberpunk building this is this robot that spans about 3 floors. Here's this red cybernetic robot humanoid that's just impressive, and behind this like purple glass, it's so cool. So that is what helps me when I look at it go, okay, which one is this? I look for the robot, boom, I know what it is. And that's something that reminds me of like how Disney designed Disneyland. He knew that when you were standing in the center of Disneyland and you were looking and trying to decide which direction to go for Fairy Tale Land, there was Snow White's castle, and for Tomorrowland there's Space Mountain, and if you want to head off to Adventureland, there's maybe the Thunder Mountain Railroad. So there's things that you can see and you can identify easily. I think they're called totems, something like that, that you can quickly figure out, okay, what am I looking at, what's involved. And so Lumibricks has done something like that. They've created a totem that gives you an easy identifier for this particular set and the tone and the vibe for that set. All right, so this is the box. As usual, it's a cool box. There's that giant robot, and it says Cyber on it, and he's got this like digital face. I think it's kind of cool, and 3 legs and these arms and these translucent pieces. So really neat. And this is what I meant about multiple sets in the series. So there's 4 pictured here, and I have, oh, actually there's 5 total. So there's a 5th one, which is the stacks, the game stacks. So there's maybe 5 total. All right, and then I wanted to show you the inside of the box because a lot of these have some cool artwork. So this one has artwork inside as well that just kind of set the mood. I think a lot of times that's what this is. It is setting the mood. It's getting you excited about what's going on with it, you know. And look at this. They even put real information about this set, but then they like cybered it up with the number 3 here being a 3, or the E in the number is a 3. Just the kind of hacker type of like misspellings in there. Look at how they spelled user and the number of pieces, stuff like that. So that's cool. Like, it's cool that they can have some fun with it. They have let their graphic designer loose and said, you know what, have fun, do whatever you want on the inside. And the designer made good choices. So good job, guys. All right, so here are the parts. We're looking at bags 1 through 13, and there are multiple bag 1s, multiple bag 2s, etc. Don't let that scare you. I mean, it is a lot of pieces. If you're getting this set or considering this set, hopefully you've built other modulars before, so you're used to something in the 2,000 piece range. You're going to do fine, and you'll be able to handle it. And as far as the parts go, they are Lego compatible, and they use parts that we're familiar with, and they're good quality bricks. Lumibricks uses Go Bricks, which is a well-known company that Fantasy also uses, and these are bricks that they don't have any printing on the studs, and the bricks go together really well. You can actually feel like them clicking together, as opposed to other brands where maybe they're a little mushy, and then you feel like you really got to press them down to get them to go together. So they're not over clutched, is what I call them. I do see some colors here that are unusual. Like they have this almost an off-white. I've seen Lumibricks sometimes include a very light gray. So this is, I would call that really light gray in here, and there's a bunch of it. So I think they've included it maybe to have a little more convincing, like concrete color for the building. So that's kind of cool. This is a color I haven't seen too much either. It is also like a cream. So this one has a little more yellow in it than that one. That one is more like a stone concrete color. Lots of color overall. So I love seeing that for Cyberpunk sets, where you've just got tons and tons of color happening, where they're expecting you to have a lot of unusual sections of the stores. And just, I mean, that's just what Cyberpunk is. It's got tons of transparent colors, bright colors, lots of lights. Here's an example of one of the printed bricks in here, and it has a character, and it has a thing of fries. So I think that's an Easter egg, is a fries. Every decoration you're seeing is a pad printed piece. I'll give you an example too of how they go kind of above and beyond with the pad printing. So this is a printed piece. Is it upside down? Like this maybe? Oh, it's like this. Okay. This is a pad printed piece, but it's actually, I think, 3 pieces together. And so what Lumibricks has done is, in the factory, they put this plate across the back, they stick the pieces onto it, and then they print it in place. And so what that does is it makes sure that when you go to put it on your final model, when you put it on the model yourself, it lines up perfectly. There's no weird stuff going on with the image lining up with itself, and it's printed right to the edge. That's the other advantage there. So that's a really nice thing that they do, and I see that quite often. And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh man, I felt so taken care of. So I appreciate that. Here's another printed piece, and it's printed all the way to the edge as well. It's really nice stuff. And then of course they have their bags of characters, and there's a lot of characters included in this. And with Lumibricks, you have to press the hands into the arms, and then the arms into the torsos, and the legs into the hips. And the first time you do it, it's a little tricky, because the hands are just, they're strange little shapes to be holding onto, and then applying a lot of pinpoint force. But once you figure it out, it goes much quicker. And once you realize the left and right, it goes quicker. You see some decorated feet in there too. And this set, because it's a fashion store, has a ton of like gray head pieces that are meant to be like mannequins that show up. And there's a couple clear head pieces too that are also supposed to be mannequins. So I love that they thought of doing that. And then if you've never built Lumibricks before, then I need to tell you that they include special parts that help you run the wiring. So don't get intimidated by the wiring. It's super easy, and they give you a lot of information in the manual about how to place the wires, and they dedicate a lot of time to helping you feel comfortable about where to put the wires. And once you put the wires down, they have these specialized parts that have grooves on the bottom and the top to help you run that wiring so that you can press your bricks down without crimping the bricks, without crimping the wires, and it doesn't create any kind of weird gaps with your build because everything's laying perfectly flat. So I love that. A lot of translucent blue in here, and this I think is trans light blue, more light blue here, and they've got some printing on it as well. And I don't know if I saw that purple. That I think this is purple for that where that robot is, but I don't see it. So I wonder if maybe I'm a liar and it's blue instead, and maybe it's not even curved. So, you know. All right, cool. And then of course you get quite a few of these 16 by 16 plates. Oh, and look at that. There's a couple things on sprues here. So these are just tools. And then you get this bag of hoses. There's one large clear hose, and then this string with studs on it. And then I got in mine a little card with a holographic effect. It says EXOÉLAN. This is set number 994. And it says VIP membership luxury 2099 Neon City. So this is I believe an exclusive little card they included for the first several thousand people who got the set, and some lucky people got a card that actually says winner on it, and those people got a bonus set. All right, and then this is the orange box that includes all of your lighting. So this box has the lighting, it has some safety precautions, and the light parts are separated by bag number, just like your normal parts. That's to help you not feel overwhelmed, and you know where to get the parts. And if they were to put all the parts in one bag, they would get pretty tangled actually. So it's good that they separate them out. You get a battery box, and it has a screw on there for safety reasons, but they thought of that and they included a screwdriver for you to open this box, and you don't need the screwdriver anywhere else. The lighting kit does not need it at all. So this little box has an on-off switch, and then you plug the light kit into this USB, and this usually takes, I want to say AA, so 3 AA batteries go in here, and it's optional. You don't have to use the battery box. You can power it off of whatever USB you want as well. So it looks like this stands in for bag 2. That's why it's got a 1 and then a 3, and then this is probably 2. And this is probably the USB. So it's a USB-A to USB-C cable. That's what that is. Also in this box, a pair of metal, nice little tweezers. And these are handy not only for the wiring, because sometimes you're pressing connectors together that have pretty tiny little ends, but it's also helpful, especially in a large build like this. If you drop a piece that it gets to a weird spot in your build, sometimes it's helpful to have tweezers to help you get in there, get behind a desk, or get behind a counter or something like that you've built. That happened to me on a Western set, and I think it was a little pistol that fell behind the manager's desk, and there was no way I could get that with my fat hands without pulling everything apart. So I was so glad to have the tweezers. It helped me get them. And then we can take a peek at some of the things that are inside these bags, so you can get a sense for what the light kits look like, right? So they come individually wrapped like this, and This is a example of a connector. This is a multi-floor connectors that helps connect different floors together. This here is a light, this tiny little stud has an LED in it. And then I think this is also a light. So this has LEDs across the top of it. And so sometimes you have clear or translucent signage you can press into the top of it, and then it shoots the LED light straight up, and then it lights up the item. So that's the type of thing that's in here, and it looks like there's 2 or 3 other items in this particular bag. And same goes with this bag. Bag number 3 is a couple of items too that are again, oh, here you go. Here's that part that you probably plug into the top of that part I just showed you. So you press it in, and then the light shoots up into it. And because of the way that they've etched this or designed this, it looks like a neon sign. It's really cool idea. And in this box, I don't know why they didn't put this in a bag. I think, oh, I know why, because it has this flexible light strip. This guy right here that's kind of, oh, it's held in place with something. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it. But this is an LED strip with a self-adhesive piece of paper. So you take the piece of paper off, and then it's got a self-adhesive strip to it, and then you lay it down across the parts, and then that's part of the lighting kit. So all of the lighting you're seeing here is custom made for this kit. So it's custom lengths of wires, it's custom lighted bricks specific to a specific use within the build. So they've thought of those things. It's not a generic kit. I have other sets where, you know, it's just a battery box and then a couple of 1x4 plates, and then it's just meant to light up the room in general. This is not how Lumibricks does it. They're a lot more intentional, a lot more careful about the lighting. It's fully designed, and these are light parts that probably will only appear in this kit ever, you know, because they're that specialized. There is a brick separator, in case you've never seen a Lumibricks brick separator. They're pretty beefy. So it's this guy right here. It's definitely longer than a Lego brick separator, and I appreciate that it's not all flimsy. This is a beefy one that you could stand on this, run it over with a car. I think it would be okay. So I love that they give you a really long-lasting brick separator. Okay, so that's a general overview of the parts. Let's take a closer look at the instructions. Okay, so we're looking at the instruction manuals. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3, that cover different stages of the build. And we do have PDF instructions available. So you scan that code and you'll be able to get to them. So let's start with the first book. Move those out of the way. And the books are all perfect bound with this nice matte finish. Great photography, of course, on there. Tells you a little bit about the brand. Appreciate that they do that. And they right away let their artists loose with poster style imagery. And here you're getting a close-up of one of the, like, I don't even know what this is. Is this a display case for cybernetic parts? Like, these are parts that are hooked up to the facility, then they're showing off these cool legs that you can buy for your cybernetic body. I'm not sure, but I love it. I like it. I'm here for it. Okay, and then my favorite, this giant robot, he's called the Cyber Trendsetter. So I guess he's telling you what the future of fashion is, and he's the one to follow. So maybe in the future, the most popular celebrities and fashion models are not humans. Maybe they're cybernetic robots. And it says, towering before the store, it showcases cutting-edge augmentation that captures every gaze. So yeah, you know, in the future, if cybernetics are the future of fashion, then who better to handle that than a robot? Okay, and then you've got these little vignettes that introduce some of the characters that it comes with. And it actually gives you names for those characters. So the first here is a woman named Noah 44, and she's the showroom hostess. And it gives you a little bit of information about her. And then this second one here, his name is Ryan Hazy. He's a high definition prosthetic designer. I mean, wow, they've thought through his role. And then Lithia Rusden, she's an augmentation vlogger. So she's a content creator specifically about augmentation, right? So she's a trendsetter. And then we've got this guy named Van Thero, who is a VIP client. So when he shows up, everybody needs to be paying attention, right? So let me just stop here about narrative. I love that Lumibricks has thought through this stuff. It's almost like, those filmmakers who they think through the backstory of every single person in the shot. They think about their motivation, all that. And it doesn't, they're not even characters that have names maybe, but they have a backstory. And I love that they've done that with these characters. They've thought it through. It shows just in the naming and then their roles. You know that there's something special going on. And that carries through to the rest of the model. The rest of the model also has that amount of story. If you have a VIP person, then you should have a VIP service lounge. If you have a blogger or a vlogger, then is there stuff that she's there to cover, right? So they've thought through all of that, and everything works together as a whole. And I love that they do that. They do that for all of their models. There is a story, there's a narrative, there's thinking about who populates this. Who are these characters? Why are they here? Why do the floors exist? Why do they move from floor to floor? And what are each of the floors there for? They've thought about all of that, and I love that they do that. Over here on this section, it shows the modular sections pulled apart, and the base floor looks like this swings open so you can access this showroom, and it is called the Mass Market Hall. So I'm thinking this is probably where the commoners shop, maybe. And there's that really cool. I think this is that thing we saw on the previous page, and I don't know if it lifts out or if it's floating, or I don't know what's going on there, but it looks like there's quite a bit of things to shop for down there. And it's got a street scene. It's got this like way overdone street lamp sign post. And then once you get to the second floor, it's got its own walking area. It looks like it has its own balconies. And then you get up to, I guess by now you're on the third and fourth floors. It looks like it's got a kind of an open balcony so that you can get up into the upper area. The upper area looks down into the open area. And so this says VIP service lounge. So this is quite a bit of this is a VIP group. This says Sky Garden, which is the elevator. So I think the elevator is what they're calling Sky Garden. I don't know if that's, oh no, it's pointing to this area. So this area is called Sky Garden. And then this says manual lift elevator. And then this says Haute Couture Zone for this area, maybe in the very top. And then this section is called Sky Runway. That's what it's saying there. Okay, so a lot of sections. They've thought it through. They've thought about why they exist. Here they're telling you that you can push these together and then they'll connect. And they recommend you do it with USB-C for the main, or the first one that you're doing the daisy chain on. It tells you what's included, some more safety precautions and how to do everything. And then because this book handles all the languages, there's quite a few other languages in here. And then it includes this colors list. So this is extremely helpful where you might not know exactly which color you need to grab, especially when you're talking about the grays and the ones that look very close to white or look very close to each other. It's helpful that they've given you here essentially a photograph of what, or an illustration of what that part looks like, and then the printed instruction version so that you can understand the difference between the colors. So that's what they've done here. This dark blue is a little bit on the darker side, but Yeah, so it's good to have a reference, and if the light is bright enough, you probably can tell that that's dark blue. All right, and then as you get going, you start off and you're building that foundation with the sidewalk. And what are those? Look at this entry. It's got this kind of hexagonal shape to it for the entry. So you're building that plus the floor above it, and you're setting up the light strip. Okay, so and then it tells you about the different books. Oh, so book 2, now you're building most of the upper area, including the elevator. And then by book 3, you have now added this top area here, which is where the elevator ends, and then the rooftop. Okay, and then it also tells you, hey, check the lights, and they show you how to do that, what parts to grab, where to get them, what to switch on and off to make sure that the lighting works. And so they have you check each of the different light circuits, which I do recommend you do. And full confession, I rarely do it, but one of these days it's going to bite me. So I need to start checking them. And then it looks like there's 13, more than 13. 16, 17. Wow, there's 17 to check. So 17 steps to check. Now, don't let that intimidate you. It is very easy to just find the right thing, plug it in, and then use the tweezers to pull them out. All right, and then you're starting to build the little characters. So they give you instructions on how to do that. My least favorite part is putting the hands into the arms, and they are directional. Even the feet are directional. Not obvious enough, but yes, they are directional, and they've printed on the inside of the legs an L or an R to help you out. But once you learn how they work and how the characters are supposed to look, the next ones go way, way easier. All right, and then of course here's your normal instructions. You started here to prepare a light circuit. Sometimes you tear off an adhesive backing to adhere things to other parts. That happens occasionally, but they're very clear about what you need to do, where you need to put it, and they also show you how to run that wiring as you're going. So I appreciate that they do that. And as you see, there's not that many new parts per step. We just dedicated something like 3 or 4 steps just to figuring out where to put the wiring. And you see here that some of these parts are being placed down that help you put the wiring, keep the wiring contained. And so they help you with that. All right, and sometimes there's these top-down views, so you know and can confirm where your bricks are, and you make sure that they're in the right place, because sometimes this isometric view can be a little confusing, so they know that, and they give you these top-down views. So I appreciate that bit of confirmation. All right, so look at all that. All those pages were just to help you, get the wires in the right place for the foundation. So they do care that you get it right. You're not frustrated. They take their time. So I do like that they've done that. All right, so let's keep going. Let's skip a couple pages, huh? Because this is a big book, and your time is precious. Okay, we're going. We're starting to see the floor kind of take shape. I wonder what goes on there. That must be that showcase piece in the center, and it's maybe on a ratcheting platform. That would be nice. Every now and then it says basic trend outfit. Everyone's got one, wear it, and you're the coolest kid. So I don't know what that means. I saw that many times in the instructions. I think it's saying that you're making a mannequin. I think that's their way of saying you're making a mannequin. So you can see in the display, there's a bunch of mannequins. I love that this one is upside down. There's like a upside down breakdancing mannequin. I mean, beautiful. All right, and then we're building. Here's that entrance with this hexagonal entryway. Really cool. Here's a better look at the storefront. Some stairs, more products. It looks like the checkout counter, more of the walls. I love that they have this angle. Nothing is perfect right angles, but they've got other angles in there too. And when was the last time you saw stairs that used translucent pieces? That is Cyberpunk right there. All right, and then I think we're on to the roof of that first floor. And there's the railing. And then, so here's a look at what is in that first floor. It looks like it's just, is it a showroom or is it a lounge? And here's the fries that I think are an Easter egg. All right, so yeah, there you go. Fries and a rat. I think I could do a whole playlist on sets that come with rats. It's just a common thing. And I actually asked Google Gemini about that. I said, what is the deal with rats and in like brick sets? And they said it's something that started with Lego's modulars would like hide rats or food in the walls, and it's just a thing that rats populate cities. And so since Lego started doing it, then other brands have done it too. I think that's fascinating. If you've noticed that, drop me a comment. And here's some. Wow, I think this is a chair like that you sit in for your body augmentations. So you're actually building something. And there's this random head off in the corner. I mean, this is sci-fi and a little scary because who wants to have body augmentation? But you know, that's the thing. It's high fashion. Oh my gosh, yeah, and it's got this privacy screen and I mean, this is trending on dark, and it's behind this glass. So, oh, and there's these other things in the behind the showroom glass. But yeah, you get a nice view as they're working on you and replacing your arm. Yeah, I think. Wow, how interesting. So every mannequin has a little bit of text about it. So for example, this mannequin says, Neo leather women's wear elegant, but cold like, a past you won't mention. Amazing. Amazing. And then there's a couple dancing mannequins up here. Some flowers. I love that they don't overdo it on flowers. Some sets, I feel like they just put flowers in just because. I don't know what they're doing, just to kind of botanical it up. I don't know. Hey, look at this. So here's your balcony area. So there's a normal, comfortable chair up there for the lounge. Not a torture chair. More of the structure, and you're building out the sides here. Wow, it is getting populated. There's so much stuff. Does this whole side fold open? Yeah, it does. So it looks like this whole side of it folds open, so you get access to the interior. That's so cool. What are we building here? Ah, my robot. They're building my robot. Look, he's got headphones. He's got goggles that are kind of perched up on his forehead. Oh, I love that guy. And because he's got those little dangly legs, I mean, it just adds to the high-techness because he looks like he's floating. And I'm seeing here that I was wrong. I thought that these were curved pieces that surround him, but they're the trans blue panels are what surround him, and they're flat, so they go straight up. And there we go. And we're building them now, and then boom, you see he's encased behind that. That's pretty cool. I totally thought it was a rounded thing, and I thought it was purple, but photography sometimes plays tricks. Notice too, these like ghost hands, they're telling you where to press down. And if you've ever built a set where you thought there was a place that was safe for you to press down, but that it ends up exploding the build, that's what this is for, is to help you know what to hold as you're pressing things down. So again, another example of Lumibricks thinking about the build experience, thinking about you as the builder, and wanting to make sure you have a good time. And that's an example of it. That's one of the things that makes Lumibricks so good. All right, and we're continuing to build all the way up. So that has a rooftop. It's got these hoses there, and a little bit more greebling. And then here's a look at what we've built so far. And there is like a stop arm that goes here. Not sure what that's about. I wonder if that can connect to another building and maybe the heights match up. I'm not sure. And then here we're building the elevator. So the elevator is like a full pill shape. Maybe that's so that you don't walk under the elevator. That's what that's for. So the elevator comes down. There's these 2 steps so you can access the elevator, and they just don't want anybody standing beneath it. Would have been cool if they did a black and yellow danger stripes on the floor. That might have helped it feel a little bit more, or maybe just have it go down, have it be a recessed area. That kind of could have been a cool way to handle it. And then we're on the roof now, and I see a lot of trans blue, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope that's a pool. I hope they put a pool on the roof. How cool would that be? And it looks like it might be a pool. Like, I'm looking at it, and right here, it looks like it is a pool, and it's got, let me see, I think I saw a section. Here it is. So look at this. They use glass to surround the outside area, which you would see on a high-end like hotel. And I totally hope that's a pool. If it was a pool, they would give you a minifigure that you tell you to put half of the minifigure, the upper half of the minifigure in the pool. And then here we are building the section that the elevator comes up to. So the elevator comes into this like enclosed section here, and that's what we're building. We're putting it in place, and so that you don't explode your build, they're helping you with where to put your fingers. There you go. It's got some communications equipment on the top of it. All right, and then I noticed too, wow, what is this? So it's got the signage, it's got this archway, but this is a roller coaster piece that's in trans red. So it's a transparent roller coaster piece. I've never seen one of those before. So it runs across the top. I don't know why. Does it have a function, or is it just part of the overall architectural design? I don't know. And then you take this whole thing and you snap it to the base. By now, this is going to be very heavy, but they want to make sure you know where to put it in. And usually it's pretty obvious. You're not like hunting around for where it needs to settle and sit. So in my experience, they're really good at making it feel like there's only one place it can be, and you kind of know immediately if you've locked it in correctly or not. All right, and then we're doing some of the finishing details on the ground level. Here's that massive street sign. It does so many things. It's got equipment on it, some readouts, some displays. All right, and then they're telling you to put batteries in the battery box. And then where does that go? So that's kind of tucked away back here, kind of out of the way behind these pillars. That's kind of cool. It's not completely hidden like on some of their sets, but it is out of the way, so you don't need to look at it. All right, there you go. So that is a huge, huge look at this set. And I'm taking my time because I know not everybody has built Lumibricks before, so I hope you found that useful. And like the video if you like, and subscribe. You'll be the first to know once I've built this, and we can enjoy it and take a look at it together. Okay, thank you very much.